everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well, and I want to give a special shout out to Renata, who created my channel intro, which I think is just the coolest thing ever. She reached out to me on Twitter and basically had made this intro for my channel just from her own creativity, and it's just amazing. So thank you so much. It means just the world to me that people are going out of their way to do that kind of thing. It really warms my heart, so thank you so much. So in today's video, I'm mainly going to be talking about technically my post-contest top 40, but this is mainly reviewing from number 40 to 1 the live performances that we had at Eurovision this year, because a month has gone by now and I wanted to kind of just rejig my thoughts and put together a finalised list of my favourite live performances to my least favourite this year. But this is not an updated top 40. My original top 40 has stayed the same, and you can find that on my channel if you'd like to hear me discuss that. But this is mainly on the live performances, so please don't be like, why did you move this country down, or oh, why is this changed, etc., because it's not actually changed in terms of my proper top 40. This is about the live performances, so just to throw that in there in case I get comments, just refer people to this section of the video. And I just want to start off by talking about the statement that was released from the EBU yesterday. So the EBU confirmed that Ukraine unfortunately can't host the contest in Ukraine next year because of the ongoing situation there, security issues, and it would just probably not be the safest place. We don't know what it's going to be like in a year's time, but as of now the EBU has decided that Ukraine can't host in Ukraine, so they've extended an invitation for the BBC to consider hosting instead. So a lot of people have been really excited about this, myself included, because I might be able to go to Eurovision next year. I think that would be amazing. But I think the key thing is, if it's hosted in the UK, we can't. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter getting really excited and sort of making suggestions that Graham Norton should be the presenter and AJ Adodu, and just sort of have all this British sketches and everything. But we're forgetting, like, guys, this is Ukraine is hosting. It's Ukraine. They won. We didn't win. Everything about it has to be Ukraine. Ukraine is hosting Eurovision. They're just using a venue in the UK. That's probably what's going to happen. I don't think we should be threading all this Britishness into it, because that's not fair. Ukraine won fair and square. That's how I feel about it. That's just some of the issue I've had over the past couple of days, seeing what people have been writing, because you don't want to kind of undermine people from Ukraine because it's their turn to host. They won. That's all I have to say. But again, I'm really excited that it will be in the UK, because it means I might be able to go. I think it will just be a great opportunity for the BBC in terms of providing the facilities. I think they could do a good job. It would be nice to see, but it will also give the BBC a bit more of a push to maybe see, oh look, we can actually do a good job of this. Let's try and actually win ourselves and host properly. I think that would be fantastic. So those are my general thoughts on that. Let's move on to my updated top 40 based on the live performances. So I'm going to try and whiz through these because I don't want to keep you guys for a very long time. So I'm just going to spend as little time as possible on each one. So unfortunately, my least favourite performance of this year at number 40 is Malta. So unfortunately, watching this performance, it really just didn't work with the song in my eyes. I think the choreography especially really let it down. There were some clunky dance moves in there. Didn't suit the message, the vision of the song. It all just looked a bit mismatched. And it was quite disheartening, actually, knowing what Emma Muscat is capable of in her music videos, in her other discography. This just didn't match up to her other stuff, and it really just felt upsetting. They didn't finish very high up in the semi-final. They failed to qualify, and this was the performance that I just felt the most underwhelmed with. So unfortunately, someone's got to be last. It's Malta. Second last and 39th is Bulgaria. So this one, again, I think the clip they showed in the rehearsals was pretty good. They had the nice orange colour scheme, a really interesting light show, but that was the only standout moment of the performance. Everything else was just fell a little bit flat for me, so I can't put it any higher. I still think they had a good vocal performance. I think that was probably the best part of it, but everything else, it just fell a bit flat. In 38th, I've got Germany, so this is the same position I had them in for my top 40. This one, again, I think the standout moment was definitely the rap portion of it. It felt very kind of full of passion and energy, but everything else lacked energy. It was all slow moving, a bit pedestrian at times. So yeah, this one also fell a bit flat. It could have had a bit more energy on stage in general, a bit more interesting lights, but yeah, I can't put it any higher than this. And then at number 37, this has dropped down quite a few places, is Belgium. So I like the song, I like the singer, but I don't like the way they performed it on the stage. I think it didn't suit the song. There were some issues I had with the choreography, that it was just lacking in this fire. It felt very, very lethargic at times too. So yeah, this really let me down because it has so much kind of flavour in the studio cut, which was not at all translated on the stage. And number 36, some of you might be quite surprised about how low this one is Cyprus. So I really do like this song when I listen to it in terms of the studio cut. The rehearsal footage looked really promising, but then when you just saw the whole 3 minutes, it just fell really flat, unfortunately. On paper, the staging concept was really nice with that kind of shell structure, the kind of Aphrodite, Venus themed dancers. I think, yeah, everything on paper worked, everything in practice didn't work. The vocals were a little bit sharp at times too. I think Andrea Marché was struggling a bit live, which is such a shame. And that's why it's so low down for me, because I saw that this had so much potential to be performed in a completely different way that would have worked. And unfortunately, it didn't work in my eyes. So sorry to everyone who likes that performance. I just didn't enjoy it as much as you guys. Number 35 is North Macedonia. So this one came 11th in the semi-final. I think that's just fantastic for them. I still don't really like the performance. The song's okay. The performance just lacked in energy, charisma. It felt very static. The camera shots weren't very interesting. That's all I really have to say about it. But I do think the standout was the vocal performance. The voice, the passion in the voice was the only kind of passion that was on the stage. Everything else fell flat for me. Number 34 is Israel. This has moved up slightly for me. It was actually my last place in my previous video about this. So Israel's performance, what completely woke it up for me was how slick and polished it came across. The choreography, Michael Ben David came across as very professional on stage. His vocals didn't falter. Everything just looked really well put together. But I still don't really like the song. So it has moved up a little bit for me, but still, just because it's been choreographed well and looks good doesn't mean it's a good song, and that's why I can't put it any higher, but still it's good that it's moved up for me. At 33, staying in the same place as before, is Denmark. So I think Reddy did a good performance. I think they looked like they had a lot of fun. I just don't think it looked very interesting on stage. It did come alive at times, but then other times, like the first opening of it, where it starts off very, very kind of slow, very adagio, and then it explodes kind of too late, I think, in the track. And that's why I can't put it any higher, but still, I think they impressed me at times. I think their chemistry as a band was really nice to see. I think they looked like they were having fun, so that's pretty good. And number 32 in the same position as well is Australia. Sheldon did a good performance. I think he kind of commanded the stage at times, but I can't put it any higher because I just don't really enjoy the song. And yeah, I felt like the staging, the live performance didn't kind of add anything extra for me to appreciate the song anymore, so that's why I haven't moved it up. Number 31 is Iceland. So this one's moved down slightly for me as well, because I just think the live performance lacked in energy. It didn't feel like it wanted to grab my attention. It's such a beautiful song, such a well-written song. It's got really nice musical elements, which just didn't translate in the live performance for me. Number 30 is Austria, so this has jumped down a bit for me. So the live vocal performance is what let it down. I think Pia Maria just wasn't up to the standard of hitting those high notes. It was very high energy. It kind of commands a lot of breath control, and I just don't think she was experienced enough to deliver a performance of the level of like Chanel with the breath control and the high energy of it all. So yeah, unfortunately this has gone down in my estimations. I think Lumix did a good job on stage. He looked like he was having fun. He didn't look like he was redundant on stage either, like he had nothing to do. I think they used the structure of that kind of halo looking thing going around them well, but yeah, performance just It was okay, it just didn't kind of grab me as much as I hoped it would. And number 29, also jumping down quite a bit, is Switzerland. So I do kind of have a soft spot for this song, but the live performance for me didn't do it justice. I think it looked clumsy at times as well. Him throwing the microphone down didn't suit the tone of the performance either. I did appreciate some of the effects they had in the backdrop. I think it looked good. Perhaps the sun structure got in the way of that coming more to life. I just think it all looked a bit too dark, and when you got a slow song with a really, really dark backdrop and general lighting scheme, it just kind of makes everything a bit tired. So that's why it's gone down quite far in the list. Number 28 is Ireland, so this has jumped up a little bit. I thought Brooke did a really great job on stage. She just looked like she was having so much fun. The choreography, the lighting, the pyro, it all looked really nice. It really brought the song to a new level, elevated it all. It was a shame it didn't qualify, because I think it had that kind of spark in the live performance which made me think, oh, this might actually go through now. It's a shame it didn't. I think it's Ireland's best effort for a couple of years. 27 is Croatia. This is the other one that came 11th in its semi-final. So yeah, Mia did a good job on stage as well, like a lot of these other performers. I just think in general the song was quite meek and quite tame, to the point where the staging also was meek and tame. They didn't kind of do anything avant-garde or exploratory on stage, which made people really come out in massive numbers to vote for it. And unfortunately I just felt underwhelmed by the performance, but I still think it was sung really well. The vocal performance was almost flawless. It had a kind of vulnerability to it, which I really enjoyed too. Yeah, so that's why it's gone up a little bit, but still not high enough to kind of crack in my top 20-ish. Next is Latvia at 26. So Latvia unfortunately did pretty badly in both halves of the vote. I thought their live performance was really nice, the colour scheme, the costumes, just the general charisma. But yeah, I still don't vibe completely with the lyrics. I still think they're quite funny in places, but it's not my cup of tea. I can't put it any higher. 25, you might be shocked, some of you might not be shocked, jumped down a whopping number of places, is Albania. So this one is a shame, because I really do like the song. Live performance was a total car crash. It sounds rude, I don't mean to be rude, but you saw how good the live performances was at Festival Kengesh, and it just didn't match up to that in the Eurovision performance. They went in a whole new direction with the dancers, the costumes. They were trying to make it a bit more sexual, whilst in Festival Kengesh it was much more tribal, and that's what I think, where I think it went wrong. Camera shots, the staging of it all just looked really clunky. I feel really bad because I do like the song, but I can't put it any higher. It's dropped down so much in the list. Another one that's dropped down in my list is Azerbaijan at 24. So this one, live performance, really lacked in something. I don't know what it was. I think the vocals were nice at times. It had a nice kind of passion to it. But yeah, it really just felt lackluster. I liked the steps, but yeah, it kind of took a long time to get going. And yeah, I think when a song kind of explodes in the last 30 seconds, people forget about it. It needs to hit you immediately, and it just didn't, and that's why it's gone down in my list. But the high notes sounded pretty good. I think he did a good job at times, but yeah, I can't put it as high as I did before. So at 23 in the list is San Marino. I think they threw the kitchen sink at this. They used pyro, they used props. It looked good, it sounded good, but just fell a bit flat in terms of the voting. I do think they did a good job. I've put it slightly up in my list, but I can't put it in my top 20. I still think there was something missing from it. Maybe they put too much on the stage. I don't know. I kind of don't know how to describe it, but I can't put it as high as maybe some other people. 22 is Moldova, so this has shot up in my rankings because the live performance really did it justice. Still not a massive fan of the song. I think it's really catchy at times, but it becomes quite repetitive. But yeah, the live performance, they varied it a bit. They added more instruments like an electric guitar. It got so many points, and I'm pleased about that. And yeah, they brought something quite unique and different to the stage. It stood out a mile. It's pretty good. Next in my list is France at number 21. So this one, I was kind of sad to see how low it placed in the general results. I think it was very unique. I like the colour scheme on stage, but yeah, I just think it's such an intricate song. It's very complex. that it's very hard to get it right in terms of making it all slick, everyone hitting their marks, everyone hitting those harmonies just perfectly at the same time. It didn't work quite like that. I still like it. I've still got it quite high up in my list, but just not as high as maybe some other people. 20, I've got Lithuania. This really impressed me. I think Monica did a great performance. Vocals were flawless. I think it was very kind of classy. It all came together nicely. Really nice kind of sparkly lights. Yeah, pretty good performance. It did really well in the televote, which was fantastic to see. 19, I've got Montenegro. So this has dropped down a little bit because I just felt the live performance didn't do the song justice. I love the song. I think the song's really beautiful, but the live performance wasn't as beautiful as the song, and that's why I put it down, but I still hold it in high regard. And I think the vocals at times were really, really nice to hear. They were very vulnerable, very beautiful. 18, I've put Finland. So this one was my original number 11 in my previous video. I've put this down a bit because I do think the live vocals really let this down at times, but I think the kind of yellow colour scheme, the lights, the song is good. I think that all kind of adds up to make it still be quite high in the list, but just not as high as it was before. The live vocals were weak at times. It sounded like he was struggling, which is a shame. But yeah, I still like the song, and I will listen to it multiple times in the future. 17, I've got Netherlands. So yeah, this one, I still like it. It's gone down slightly in my list because I think the live performance in terms of the way they staged it, the way the lighting looked, was very quite plain. And this song is already very laid back and chill, and if you make the staging plain, it all becomes a little bit plain in general. They needed to do something kind of quirky, and the live performances she did before Eurovision with these laser beam effects absolutely hit the nail on the head and making it quirky and stand out, and they should have gone for that. Maybe they couldn't do it logistically. I don't really know what happened behind the scenes, but yeah, the staging that they went for in the end just didn't kind of elevate it enough as I'd hoped. But still a really great vocal performance filled with emotion, vulnerability, really nice. 16, in a similar spot, is Georgia. So I really did enjoy their performance. It's a shame they didn't qualify. It was very quirky. They had all these kind of steampunk costumes, interesting puppets, nice kind of backdrop, multiple colours. I think it really suited the song. They nailed it in terms of marrying the song itself with the staging. Really nice stuff. But yeah, just unfortunately, maybe it was just a bit avant-garde. Maybe it just wasn't as universal, accessible to everyone. I don't know. But yeah, I do like it. Next, at 15, I've got Norway. Pretty good performance. Give that more for Banana. It was funny. It was quirky. It didn't do as well as maybe other people expected in terms of the results. Perhaps it was just a bit worn out. I don't know. But I still think they did a good job. It all looked like it came together well. It sounded pretty good. Yeah. 14, I've got Czech Republic. So this has jumped up a bit in my ranking too. Czech Republic's performance was just really well put together in terms of lighting. The strobe effect was totally standout. I think Running Order let it down in the end. It could have done a lot better. It actually did really well in its semi, but then because it opened the show, I think Running Order just destroyed its chances of pushing up more towards the upper mid-table. Yeah, this one still makes me a bit upset, the fact that it came so low down in the scoreboard. But yeah, I think they should be proud of their live performance because it looked fantastic to me. 13, I've got Estonia. So Stefan really impressed me in terms of the way he just commanded the whole stage. He moved around all these different parts of the stage and didn't kind of look like a small person on stage. He completely took the space. Them going in a kind of simple direction with the staging helped because the song's quite laid back. It's got a nice hook. It all kind of gelled well together. So yeah, that really impressed me too, and I'm pleased with their result this year. So at number 12, I've got Armenia. This really impressed me. Staging was beautiful, very unique. I loved the concept. I loved how it ended with her ripping this curtain of post-it notes away, and then you see the audience. It was beautifully done. Really lovely vocal performance. I actually got really impressed by Rosalind's vocals. I thought she sounded almost the same as the studio cut, which is really great. yeah, this one was fantastic. 11, I've got my own country, the United Kingdom, so this has jumped up quite a bit for me. I thought the live performance really helped it come more to life in my eyes. That electric guitar solo at the end was just really great. It elevated it. And then the staging structure as well around him, it wasn't gimmicky, it looked really nice, it completely suited the theme of the song too. Yeah, I really liked it, and I think this is a good streak for the UK. And now we've come to my top 10 of the live performances at this year's Eurovision. So at number 10 is Romania. This has jumped up so much. I just don't know what it was, but watching the live performance, I really got behind this one. I voted for it in the semi. I was really happy that it qualified. There's just something about him on stage. He's really, really charismatic. I think the choreography as well, the backing dancers looked amazing. Yeah, it was just very, very fun, very enjoyable to watch. So I'm really pleased with that. And yeah, it's in my top 10. Number 9 is Ukraine, this year's winners. So I think it was just beautifully staged. The lights, the colours, the emotion behind it, that kind of picture of the eyes in the backdrop, it looked really beautiful. And I think they did a really good job of balancing that kind of fun, quirky element with this emotionally charged element too. Really great stuff. So yeah, I'm really pleased with their result this year, and yeah, really impressive. At number 8, jumping up 2 spots for me, is Sweden, Cornelia Jacobs with Hold Me Closer. I think they did a copy and paste effect from Melfest, but it felt slightly more polished. It looked like, with a bigger stage and everything, kind of more interesting. This, I think, has grown on me over the weeks. I really do like this song, and it really impressed me live. So yeah, another really good result for Sweden. Number 7, I've got Serbia. It's exactly the same position as before. I think they did a great job with the staging. That kind of red backdrop, the flashing lights, the images of clapping hands, it all just looked superb. And yeah, I'm really pleased with their result this year. They got a massive televote score, and it was across the board as well. There was no kind of like massive Balkan vote. It was like a huge vote from all corners of Europe. Really good to see. And at number 6 is Poland. This has jumped down 2 spots for me because I do think the live performance with those effects slightly let it down looking back. I wasn't too impressed with that bit, but his voice was just amazing. It was faultless. He sounded like one of the strongest performers of the whole year. Really impressive. I still love that chorus. I think it's really catchy, and yeah, I was really pleased with this performance, apart from the strobe effect, that kind of like Windows Movie Maker thing. And number 5 is Greece, Amanda Tenfield with Die Together. This is a case where I really like the song, I like the performance as well, but the performance just didn't have that massive punch in the gut moment for me. I was waiting for it, I didn't get it, but I still think it was great. I really enjoyed her vocals as well. It was very intimate. I love the camera shots, the kind of zoom in and then it stopped, and it's almost like she was controlling the camera as well with her voice. I thought that was nice to look at too. But yeah, I still love this song. Number 4 is Slovenia. This is one of my like kind of favourite songs of the year because of just how amazed I am by their talent and their talent at songwriting too. This didn't qualify, it came dead last in the whole contest. It's a crime, it's an absolute crime, but I still love it. It's gone up 1 place for me because I do think it just looked charming on stage. I like the disco ball effect. A lot of people thought it looked kind of like a school talent show. I thought it was really cute actually, and I don't think it looked like a school talent show. I think it looked very kind of polished. It all looked, you know, perfect for them, for their age too. Really nice. At number 3, my 3rd favourite performance of the year was Spain. Chanel with Slow Mo. This was the one I was most excited to see just before the performance because I'd seen the rehearsals, the semi-final performance too. It just looked amazing. It was like a spectacle on stage. Nothing we've seen before at Eurovision. It was just mind-blowing. The choreography, the vocals staying with the choreography, kind of no out breath moments. It looked and sounded so good. This is one for the history books, I think. Great performance. I'm so happy with their result, and I hope they keep pushing next year with Benidorm Fest to get their win. I think a win is coming for Spain. Fingers crossed. At number 2, my 2nd favourite performance of the whole contest was Italy. This is Brividi. So I really, really love this. It just melted my heart watching it. I thought they had so much chemistry on stage, the lighting, kind of making use of all of the lights, the cage of lights behind them as well. It just looked really beautiful, very stirring. This is also one I think we'll remember for years from Eurovision. Just absolutely stunning. Well done. Another great result for Italy this year. And my favourite performance of the whole contest this year in the grand final was Portugal. So this is a bit of a change. This was originally my third favourite song of the year. It was my favourite live performance because it was just so different from everything else. The circular formation they had, this camera swooping down just on Mauro. Everything was so intimate. They just were on the B stage as well. It was just so intimate, so beautiful. It was like you're being invited in on something really, really lovely. And yeah, I was just so impressed with this. I spoke to some friends of mine a couple of weeks ago at a party, and they know like I'm a big Eurovision fan, and they said like Portugal, like that was their favourite one. And these are like 27, 8-year-old guys who like football and rugby, and they were like, Rachel, I absolutely loved Portugal's performance. So I think it was quite universal, it was accessible to a lot of people, and it was just such a moment on stage, and I was really impressed with it too. Really great stuff. So yeah, there is my top 40 live performances from this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Let me know down below what you guys think, of course, and I'll see you soon. I'm going to be making Saturday videos going forward, so one video a week on a musical topic or a Eurovision topic, that kind of thing. So stay tuned, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend going forward, and I'll see you soon. Bye.